Okay, now we have a bunch of random shit to talk about since the trade deadline's over. Who steps up in Claypool's place in the Steelers' offense? Tomlin has addressed the media, has talked about Canada. Also, does William Jackson III have a legitimate chance to start when Week 10 rolls around? This is Big Deke News, so let's get into it. I already mentioned the aftermath questions that have been popping up since Claypool has left and William Jackson III has arrived. So let's start off with the offensive side. Who steps up in Claypool's place? Who becomes the new slot receiver? Well, as of right now, it looks like the front runner is Steven Sims. Deontay Johnson said Steven Sims spent today's practice in the slot role a lot and expects him to be good at it. But you have Coach Tomlin leaving the door open for others as well.
Is there anybody else you might want to get a look at in there?
Gunner, Miles, Boykins, man, we got some guys that have logged some game time and appear to be poised for an increased role. Some guys with some NFL experience that we're comfortable with.
I really don't care who it is. Can this offense just get better? Because there is a case for all three. For Sims and Gunner, they're more of the speedy slot archetypes. Sims was flashing a lot of playmaking in the preseason. He had a connection with Pickett. And also, Gunner seemed to have a little bit of a connection with Pickett, as Kenny did talk him up in the offseason too. And then with Miles Boykin, he has the Claypool prototype size, and if I can remember correctly, was very reliable in the preseason, caught pretty much everything thrown his way. Right now, I don't think anyone really knows how this is going to play out. I do think it'll be interesting, to say the least, to see how the offense dynamics change over these next several weeks, not only with the slot receiver, but just how many more targets Pickens ends up getting. What about Freiermuth? Also, Deontay Johnson. Do we run the ball more? Do we use more heavy personnel out there? So it'll be interesting. Let me know what you guys think, though, down in the comments with who you think is the front runner to be that wide receiver 3 or that slot receiver between Gunner, Boykin, and Steven Sims. I'm leaning Steven Sims because every time he's gotten the ball, he's made plays and hasn't proven otherwise up to this point. And as you could tell by what Deontay said, it looks like the Steelers are giving him that inside track. And then on defense with WJ3 in the secondary, you have the defensive coordinator just yesterday in Terrell Austin not ruling out William Jackson potentially starting in Week 10.
Terrell, is there enough time for Jackson? Could he start for you next Sunday? Is it
Well, I think
feasible?
I think anything's feasible. I mean, he's a veteran. He's been in the league. He understands football, and I think it all is going to depend on obviously the practice next week, how comfortable we feel, and where we feel he is. What he does with playing time.
We all have heard the talk about how Jackson might just be a way better fit here with the Steelers compared to Washington, how the scheme just wasn't really right for him. But another thing that might be holding him back from playing has been the injury. He hasn't played since Week 5, but it looks like he's going to be good to go.
How's his health coming in?
He's fine. You talking about Will Jackson?
Yeah, because he had missed some time, I guess, there, hadn't practiced a little bit.
It was insignificant, I think, in terms of the transaction, so it's a non-factor. He worked today.
Obviously, you get a dude like WJ3 with a player of his caliber, you don't want him just sitting on the bench. You want him out there playing. And you hear how highly Tomlin speaks of him. So I'm assuming we're going to see him on the field sooner rather than later. Week 10? Yeah, I'm thinking so. Is he going to be CB1 right off the bat? I'm not 100% sure, but all you really got to do is not let this type of shit happen. And then the last little bit of information before we close out is that we got some additional insight from Tomlin from his bye press conference, and it's not in the form of news that 99% of Steeler Nation wanted to hear.
Just to follow up on Brooks' question, you mentioned significant changes. Is changing coordinator or coaching staff, is that at all a possibility here?
No.
So there you have it. We're stuck with Matt Canada as the OC, for better or worse, for the next 9 weeks. I think some Steeler fans are extra frustrated about this news, and I think the timing with it, with the Claypool trade and everything, because they think the organization misinterpreted their pleas. They wanted Canada gone, not the Canadian receiver. But in all seriousness, I do think it is the right move to keep Canada around for the rest of the season, in particular for Kenny's development. I just don't think it really does anyone any good to can him midway through the season. Now, if the offense stays the same, we're still the worst ranked offense. We have the worst metrics in terms of offense. At the end of the season, by all means, get rid of Canada and bring someone else in. But right now, I'm still seeing little signs that the offense is improving week by week. it's just not all there. Like, for instance, the Eagles game last week, we actually moved the ball pretty damn well. We had a decent time of possession. We just couldn't convert in the red zone. Kenny's fumble last week didn't help the offense, and also the defense giving up those chunk plays and the 3 plays that led to 21 points also didn't help the offense. So I'm seeing enough little signs that are pointing to the offense improving. It's all got to come together. And hopefully it does, because we do have a lighter schedule. Kenny's getting more experience, and the defense should be better as well. End of the day, we just got to win games, because all this is just talk right now. Like, if we were 4-4 or 5-3, I don't think we're as urgent about firing Canada or saying the world's ending or talking about the Steelers tanking or anything like that. But we do have a 2-6 record. I don't think we are a 2-6 caliber team. I think we are better than what our record indicates. And I think the second half of the season will show that. Think of the teams that are like 5-3 and 4-4 right now and being talked about as playoff teams in the AFC. The Patriots, the Dolphins, the Chargers, the Ravens. You don't think we're on that type of caliber at least? We can compete with any of those teams. We should beat all those teams. We should have beat the Dolphins, Patriots, and Jets. So, yeah, I think we're going to turn this around in the second half. I know I'm going on a little bit of a tangent, but hey, man, I think the season is still out there. We can make a run, go 7-2, 8-1. I think everyone's got to take a page out of the Aaron Rodgers playbook and RELAX. Relax. We'll catch a couple of these wins coming right off the bye and get right back on track. But I hope you guys enjoyed this edition of Big Deke News on a Thursday. Enjoy your weekend coming up. Stay chillin'. Peace.